Hello, welcome again. So you want to crypto. Today, I had a question from someone about what it would take to get listed on Binance. Here we go. I'll put these links below. If you want your coin to be listed on Binance.com, listing applications should be submitted by corresponding project team according to the following steps. Step 1, Step 2, and Step 3. It looks like there's a vote for the next project to be listed on Binance.com. Not sure how, who, what, or you get selected to be voted upon, but here's an example of the vote for the next project. So listing, when an exchange offers trading pairs for a particular asset, this action is known as listing the asset. In traditional markets, this means that a company shares are available to be traded on that particular stock exchange. They build liquidity. In general, this means that the company being listed has passed certain thresholds for financial and regulatory viability in addition to a degree of trust for the exchange, like Binance. Thus, by the act of listing, the exchange is signaling that the shares of the company assets are known to be of a base threshold of quality. So in other words, if you want to see INS or XNS get relisted onto Binance, much like INS was, it would have to start over as a completely new entity. It would have to follow steps 1, 2, and 3, and so on. They're not the same. INS was an ERC20. XNS is a native token or coin of its own. All right. So that leads me to the next question. Binance and Bithumb XNS swap process kicks off, right? Here we go. This link is below, and we've talked about this before. I do want to point this out on coinranking.com. Still lists INS as an ERC20 token, and there are 32.5 million INS tokens left. It says verified supply. It has an Ether address right here. The link is below, and it still has it listed at 21 cents. Not sure if this just isn't being updated or how you want to look at that. But as far as I know, INS is being converted to XNS, and INS is no longer a thing. You can see 2,700 in volume. So I'm not sure if that's just them converting to XNS. Alright, a little bit more on XNS. I'll put this in, but this is some Reddit stuff and just talking about how XNS is probably a scam and why is it on the top of KuCoin's list and what's with the Bicky exchange, and that's what some of this was trying to answer. And this is just to show you there's a lot of other people besides people on here asking these questions. So it's a lot to do with basically Visa, the project, and the people that were working with the project. And I'll give you an example of that. So we have someone who works for Insolar. He also works for Sovereign. So now we go over here to a paper from Schulich School of Business. I may have pronounced that wrong. But this is an academic peer-reviewed paper, it looks like. And I highlighted a few things that I'd like to share with you. The first thing is right here. Daniel Kabanov Insolar. Daniel Kabanov Insolar and Sovereign. Sovereign has their technology is being utilized by Visa or something along those lines. So there's a connection with Visa somewhere, somehow, maybe not, whatever. But this Insolar, in this paper, we present facets of the token engineering process for a real-life 80-person Swiss blockchain startup, Insolar, which is now the XNS token. We show how Insolar used systems modeling and simulation combined with cryptocurrency expertise to design a mechanism to incentivize enterprises and individual users to use their new mainnet, which I believe is now going to be called Enterprise Net, but whatever, public blockchain network. and I'm not going to bore you with the rest of this, but I do have a few other notes. Insolar conducted an ICO, initial coin offering, of their cryptocurrency in December of 2017, and they are about to launch their public permissionless blockchain, the Insolar mainnet. They sought to update their model using applied systems, dynamics, modeling, and simulation. And I think we're past this point, but it's something to bring up. There's a few diagrams. If you really are that interested, dig in here and look. Insolar is involved in other projects in renewable energy supply chain management. And see, that's a lot. They hit really big on supply chain management, enterprise management and stuff on Insolar's pages. But the mining and the natural resources, that's a little new. And however, in this paper, our focus is on the mainnet. Coin holders provide their XNS. So this says XNS in this paper. So it's sometime between the INS and XNS swap, I would imagine, to maintain consensus in the network via staking. So they're saying it's a proof of stake. Not only should the operation of the mainnet be decentralized, so should its governance. A mainnet governed exclusively in perpetuality, or whatever, by Insolar is not desirable. Instead, a governance foundation similar to those that underlie the Bitcoin and Ethereum networks, and one in which, in the long run, Insolar is one of many members, is needed. Here's another, it's a pretty complex diagram, but if you click on it and zoom in, it gives you a lot of information, and so does this chart over here. And I have just a little bit more to touch on at the end. To summarize, given the increasing role of cryptocurrencies, especially in light of recent announcements of corporate cryptocurrencies from Facebook, JP Morgan, and Walmart, we determined that the topic of token economics is under-researched. And I will agree with that. Most of it is based on legacy financial systems and not treated as cryptocurrency as its own entity. That's the way I view it. Simulation results point to investment into the subsidy pool of having a desirable positive effect that helps mainnet growth. The insights from modeling will be important as Insolar tries to foster a vibrant ecosystem of application developers and computer resource providers that will entice individual and enterprise users to join the mainnet after launch. Which it sounds like we're just kind of in the mainnet launch, but I don't know. Not a financial advisor, not financial advice, don't have any affiliation with anything. Moreover, though always a pressing issue for blockchain-based systems, we did not address security issues as bounding of our scope entailed, assuming security breaches to the mainnet to be, and I'm not even going to try that one, events that our simulation does not factor in. Regardless of these limitations, for a fledgling startup like Insolar, their future success will in no small part hinge upon how well their models incentivize their various stakeholders to participate on the mainnet. And that's key: participation, value, and adoption versus the numerous alternatives. We believe that providing visibility to such a strategic and academically novel exercise serves a contribution to the research community. I agree. And I was trying to find a date and I couldn't, but I found a few highlight dates of some sources they use. So it's within like the last year, this paper is. Another thing I would like to point out is when you look right here at the job description and it says founded and managed and so on, but right specifically directed a Scrum, which is a project management, I guess, philosophy team to develop and launch a next generation financial product with a key Fortune 500 client. Financial product, platform as a service, Visa, software as a service. No connection, I'm sure. That is it. 96. Thanks, guys. Great support. Cheers.